Yeah.
Fellas.
You don't have to be that close, mate. I promise you. I've made
Don't
it
tell me
loud.
what to do, Daniel. No, I'm joking.
Right, yeah, just be chill, man. You're fine. We have Flash Peasants here with us today.
The boys.
Nice to see you.
Flash
How are we
Peasants.
doing?
He's alright.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, go for it.
My name is Shaun Flynn,
I'm Stephen Crook,
and we are Flash Peasants.
Flash Peas.
It's a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you for being here. We've already had you on, Sean. We had you on
We did.
previous podcast
We
back
did
in.
it
Was it?
once before.
Can I just say, before we get started, Shaun didn't consult me on that, so...
I don't think I was. It wasn't
Oh, that was
Flash
just a
Peasants
solo
who were
thing.
being invited, mate.
It was just
the big dance.
just you
mate.
got invited. To
Yeah.
be fair, I
Were
think
you hurt
I
by
think
it?
I'd been dragging my heels. No, I wasn't hurt actually,
I'm not
but
going on a fucking
as-
save room.
obviously I watched the whole thing.
I went to the save room without you.
Yeah, you went to
Left
the
you
save
out
room,
in the-
left me
left you out in the cold, bro.
I was sat there watching it from the outside, but there was loads of points in the combo where I was like, I know what I would have said there.
I think
That's
you'll
what I
get.
loved about those
Classic
Arnie
Arnie,
movies.
mate. Classic
You might be
Arnie.
mixing up Total Recall with Eraser there, because Total Recall is the one with the X-ray. He goes to Mars. And
That's
they put the
right.
memory
That's
implant in him. Yeah,
I know Total Recall well. Yeah, I love that.
That's what I was going to say. That's like
2
one of your favourites.
weeks, the fucking baby out the guy's belly.
Escape from New York, Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken, bad.
What
Is that's not? He's like a character inspired by Snake.
No,
Solid
no, no,
Snake.
no.
Nah.
Kojima got the inspiration from Escape from New York.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't.
Because
realise
Escape
that
from
was
New
the-
York came out in the 80s. The
81.
first
And
MGS
Metal Gear
film.
was like
Metal
what,
Gear was
90?
like 90 something. Yeah.
That was the shit, wasn't it? We used to play that in Damon's house when
Yeah,
we were
we
in
did.
Kool.
Resi Game's my favourite. I'm recently on New Game Plus with the fucking hand cannon.
Oh,
And I'm just
sick.
rinsing through it.
Which
But
one's
I-
this you playing?
Resi 4.
Yeah.
So if you
I
complete
love
it, then you
Resident
complete it on professional, and then you play professional on New Game Plus. You get like infinite rocket
Have you
launcher.
seen the movie since the last time we spoke?
Yeah.
Tell us all
Have
about
ya?
it.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I have.
Have
yeah.
you not seen it?
No.
Ah.
I would speak about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
don't
was
shit. I ain't gonna
so
watch it.
weak.
I don't
Bro.
give a shit either. So
Actually,
yeah.
right, because I watched it later than you, and
Yeah.
I had this pre-misconception that it was going to be shit.
Don't tell me that you
No,
liked
no,
it.
no, it was shit.
Yeah.
What I did appreciate was their loyalty to the games.
They did a lot of stuff, like they made some stuff look real cool, like,
Like-
Easter egg value. It was a good movie, like in that respect.
When it lost me, because it was like what happened before they went to the Spencer Mansion. So they're all in, it's Chris and that in the police station
hmm
talking, and then then they get to the mansion, and then it's like they totally changed the
The
story.
story was weird, wasn't it? It didn't make
Yeah.
any sense in that.
And then
And then they
Claire's in it,
like
and you
they
get the
mugged
Claire side.
Leon off completely. It wasn't
weren't
good.
even aware of this movie, like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to do like
It's
a
more-
true to form like
Resi
movie.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 and 2. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
As a
right.
mixed movie,
Yeah.
like it was like too much, man. They just
I tell you
pissed
what
on
though,
it, like-
that scene with Chris in the dark room, and he's going off by his gunfire light. That
Mhm.
was fucking sick.
Well, when it's
Yeah.
flicking.
Yeah, and
I
he's
was
going.
thinking about them. the
That
other
was
night.
that was quality. That I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that scene. But apart from that, like the lickers and it was just a letdown.
yeah,
Man.
it
It
was
was like
weak, man.
it was like
weak, man.
this is from Resident Evil. There
Yeah,
you go.
It was like an Easter egg movie
Yeah,
for me.
Here's
I
the
was
outside of the mansion. You go in, it's like a fucking two-story house. It was like,
like,
oh, what the fuck?
And the zombies look real weak as well. I felt like
The first one looked good.
Like Romero, like he was doing those old zombie movies in the 70s, and I just don't think anybody's really improved on the art.
It's because
of
of the
it, like-
original message, though. Think about what the
Mm.
original message behind Dawn of the Dead was in the 70s. It was about
So
consumerism.
that's what you've just come in with.
Yeah.
That was your-
Yeah.
I told-
Carry on.
Mate, I
sorry,
told you,
sorry.
man.
That's
Mate.
that is,
Mate,
in
I'm
my
a fucking...
opinion, top 10 movies ever,
Which
bro.
one?
I
The
love
original
that
Dawn?
film.
Everyone
Yes.
loves
Original
the
Dawn of the
Romeros.
Dead,
I'm gonna say
1977.
something controversial, right? I don't think it's aged well.
What?
I don't think it's aged well.
Nah, that's a
And I used to
classic.
be
That's a
I wanted to
classic.
get their Flyboy as a zombie tied on my leg and
I
everything.
Fly-
fucking love Flyboy.
What's going on with Coda? Because their Instagram's still active.
Yeah, that's me just like posting shit that's coming up in my memories. and
Nostalgia stuff, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So these are not still together now.
Well, we never really like officially
It's a
split up
hiatus.
or said we're going on hiatus. So
You
we
just-
just kind of like
not really.
we just kind of like did a little side step. just stepped off.
Yeah. Just doing your
Um,
own little projects at the minute.
Each one of us lives outside of Corby, apart from me and Shaun now. So Jay's
Where's Jake at? In London.
Jake's down in London.
Yeah.
He's doing loads of stuff.
Don't
You
worry.
guys have got a lot going on.
Yeah,
Today,
Yeah.
tomorrow, which day is it today? Of the big release?
Today,
Today.
3-day week.
3-day
Well, no,
week.
This comes out on Tuesday, so it will be out on.
3-day week out now.
Yeah, it's out now.
It's out now.
Out now.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
3-day
Yeah.
week.
Tell your mum and
Out
your
now.
granny.
3-day
They'll love it.
3-day week's the title track of
That's
our new EP. So we're releasing the tune today, which is Thursday the 8th.
I just want to say I loved that video because you mentioned it on the previous podcast about walking
Yeah.
around. with the placard, and
Yeah.
the guy saying,
At the time of telling you that, I didn't know they had the footage of it. So
Right.
then I was just as
Who's in-
surprised
who's
as
in
you
the
when
match?
it
You
came
in
up
the match?
online. I was like,
Yeah.
that's amazing that they caught that. That was they knew him, didn't they? Online,
A
somebody
couple
like
of people have like
Right.
popped up and been like, "Is this Jim?"
Jim,
Right,
yeah.
for
And then the other one's like, "Yeah, it is Jim."
let's do a little examination of this man's character. Like we're speculating here, but like, where's his mind at? Like some form of cognitive dissonance. You know what I mean? He can't let go of the fact that he was fucked. He was fucked over in life. He spent the last 50 years of his life contributing to what cause, for whom, not for himself.
I was wondering where he was going because he was like, he seemed to be like had a bit of pace, didn't he? But he was
Yeah.
also pretty aggressive from the off, wasn't he?
From the off, which
Fucking Burger King put gherkins in his burger instead of onions.
He was raging for the rest of the day.
3-day week, my
yeah,
ass.
I think he,
Get grab yourself, brother.
there's a few other funny things. Like we had, there was kids that were like kind of waving at the bear.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw in the
which
subtitles
which
as
was,
well.
like, quite, that was quite cute. The security came up to me and like asked me what we were doing. I was like, "Mate, it's for a music video." Like,
Did you
calm
need a
down,
permit?
I'll be gone. What's that?
You need a permit, no?
No, we just went up and did it, man.
Did we need a permit though? I don't know.
You
No,
might
they had a
need
permit
permit.
outside.
James
their
Cameron
told
council.
me he needed a permit.
James Cameron didn't have a permit when he filmed Terminator 1, so
But
don't worry
he didn't
about
have
it.
a permit when he built the Titanic a second time.
I think we're all right.
CGI.
I think we're all right. I think we're okay.
So talk us through a 3-day week.
The song,
The
what,
process,
video?
the creative process. Because I hadn't even heard the song yet. You know,
Yeah.
it launched at 7:30
Yeah,
Thursday night, which is today.
yeah.
And we haven't had a chance to hear it because we've been setting up. So tell us all about it.
So it's the lead single of our upcoming EP release, which is also called 3-Day Week. And that's the third track on there. We've already released 2 tracks, which is The Boys and Do This.
Which is my favourite song, by the way.
Do This.
I
Seems
just-
to be a bit of a crowd pleaser.
I like the boys.
I like The Boys.
It's
don't
more
like
of a,
the
it's more of a
boys.
hip hop.
Well, growing up- Growing
That's
up, I
what
was a
we
big
go
fan
for.
of like Static X, Linkin Park, Executioners. I
And
get that
that's
vibe.
cool because like that we like that stuff as well. Do you know what I mean?
I like
That's
your original
obviously our
stuff as well,
background. Like,
from years ago. I like them tunes as well.
that's cool, man. That's good. I
don't know what
think
you
those
feel
old
about them.
songs are starting to like seep out now. Like the because we really took a bit of a hiatus, didn't we? Really, and had kids and stuff. So it was a bit of a break. Do you know what I mean? But I think with this new EP, there's 5 tracks on the new EP, and I don't think some of them they're like boom bap hip hop, classic Flash Peasants formula. But there is a handful of tracks on there where we've tried to go sonically in different directions.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
necessarily
for sure.
consciously, like it just happened. Like we wanted to make a new record and we didn't want to make Flash Peasants, the self-titled EP, the first EP. We didn't want to make that again, so we just dipped our
Changed it
toe
up.
in different
Yeah,
pools. You know what I mean?
It's cool. It's cool.
And you, sorry.
The good thing about the vinyl as well is that we've managed to, because it's double-sided, we've managed to cram the first EP on the back. Like we trimmed a few bits up, didn't you?
Yeah. So there's a vinyl coming out. Do we have a date for that now?
Yeah, that's the 29th of April on Yuck Records
Which we're celebrating with a gig at the KK, right?
on the same day.
Sorry, there's a lot going on.
So that's tickets and the vinyl and all that. That's all on the Yuck Records website. But yeah, the vinyl basically it's £12 for the 5 new EP tracks and then the original Flash Peasants EP as well.
10 tracks in total.
Bargain.
And basically all the Flash Peasant songs that are out now on one vinyl. So go to yuckrecords.co.uk and get
Imagine, right? Imagine it. Imagine in 2,000 years' time this world's extinct and the only CD left is that vinyl.
That'd be pretty boss, wouldn't it? But nobody's got a vinyl player. The last guy on earth,
And
he's like
there's no electricity.
holding this pristine vinyl. Like it's actually been great.
I wish I had one to show right now because
Because Flash Peasants is such a genius
got some
fucking
teas.
name. Like,
Which the
it's
guys
such a
kindly
genius
reckon.
name.
Yeah, you
Flash
like it.
Peasants.
I think it's everyone's got a different.
It just
idea
rolls
of
off
what
the
it
tongue
means.
like Flash Pet. Like, you know what I mean? It sounds like a sick band.
Yeah,
Group. You know what I mean? And you are.
I do
Yeah,
like the
fucking-
name. I like the name.
Well,
Yeah,
I did a bit of research beforehand yesterday on the whole origins of the 40-day week. So you guys are advocating for a 3-day week.
yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, you just die hard advocating for it though.
It's not that. It's like you put your
just makes
opinions
sense.
forth in a song, and then when you have to like back it up, I would rather someone just listen to the song and like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
mean,
kind of said
but-
on that or on the song.
No,
so
what it is, I'll tell you what my trepidation is. It's putting something on the online forum, and then people being like, "Get a grip of yourself, son." Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not really wanting to open myself up to that kind of debate, but for me, I think Crooks is probably better to field that question. To be fair,
I find myself
knackered on Friday.
Yeah, I find myself like weary, man, of like working a lot, and I'm relatively young.
Careful with that table.
But yeah, like this whole idea 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, people were thinking, they were looking forward to the future, and the worry in fact was that we'd be so technologically advanced that we could actually, you know, have the machines do the work, and we'd have so much free time we'd be bored out of our minds, and it would be the downfall of society. Okay. But we're actually in this other place where we're all being ground, you know, being worked to
it's a kind of a bullshit structure, the 40-hour
retirement age. Yeah,
because that's all right.
I mean, it was a great thing at one point because people were being forced to do 60 or 70 or more hours in a week. Yeah. So to have we've got a lot of good things.
Well, I looked into
about the world now. You know,
the origins of it was like back in the day before the industrialization, we had it was mostly agriculture was our job. So it'd be like work hard, play hard, you working your ass off for the harvest, and after that, there's not much to do, so you're just chilling out. But then obviously industrialization creeps in the 18th century, 19th century,
and the monetary system. And
it's like, so 8 hours to work, 8 hours for recreation, 8 hours to sleep. Yeah. It doesn't really work out that way. That's kind of like a,
perfect scenario.
Well, it's like conservative mindset. It's like, I'll work out just fine. But it's like, well, some people have got kids, some people have got responsibilities outside of work. You know,
that's the whole the main point from 3 Day Week was really inspired by a book by Rutger Bregman. I think I'm saying his name right there. Called Utopia for Realists. It's a really cool book that you should read. You might have seen him at that. He was the guy who kind of went viral with a video at the Davos. That meeting where all the rich.
Yeah, I know the one you're on about. Yeah.
All fly in on their private jets and talk about climate change and stuff. He's basically sat there and had a go at everyone there, like making the point about the private jets and making the point about the fact that they're not. He feels like he's at a firefighters convention and no one's talking about water, and it's basically we need to tax the ultra wealthy and use that money for the betterment of society. And
it's just common sense.
Yeah, like it's gone viral for it. His book's called Utopia for Realists. He's talking about loads of different things to do with like productivity and what makes like judging societies on like the well-being of the citizens as opposed to GDP, which is quite often just numbers in the air. It doesn't really affect the people on the bottom level.
Yeah, so back in the towards the end of the 18th century, like labour union rights or whatever, people were protesting because they were being worked 12 hours a day, pretty much, and so they're protesting for an 8-hour day, and obviously the hierarchy at the top was saying we'll go bankrupt, nothing will get made.
How will the shareholders get by if we don't?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you don't.
But funny enough, it was Henry Ford that came along and he was the first one to implement the 8-hour day. It was back in 1926. He gave him a $5 pay rise and started doing 5 days a week so everyone could have the weekend off, and they do 8 hours a day. And he found that productivity went through the roof. Absolutely. But he wasn't doing it because he was altruistic. He was just doing it because he's just fucking smart. Yeah. He's like, how can I make these motherfuckers happier while still making a big profit?
You had this guy, Dan Price. He works out of Seattle, American fellow. He was like a millionaire.
Is that guy with pure gruff voice?
No, I don't think so. He's got like long hair and a beard.
All right.
Basically, he's the CEO who was earning millions as part of his self-paid wage from his credit card broker company or whatever. He's basically had a revelation. He's seen that one of his workers, he's noticed they were applying to work as a manager at McDonald's as a side job on top of what the 40-hour week or whatever she was doing with him. And he asked her why, and she said she didn't have enough money. He's basically had an epiphany. He's cut his own wage down to the same 70,000 and raised all his staff's wage.
So I distinctly remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, so he's lowered his wage to 70 grand and bumped everyone up to 70 grand. completely changed his the way of working. Like, people can come and go as they please. They can work from home should they choose. Just going back to what you're saying about like the whole 1926 stuff.
Well, yeah, like
I can understand why people do, when you start talking about a 3-day week, I can understand when people are like, well, I had to do this and I think it's good for you, so I want that for you too. But like, to the point where it's like, it is backwards when you break it down, but I can understand why, because we all come from working class families. Like, we know the value of work, and that's what, you know, we're all kind of, I'm assuming you guys are grafting in between.
This is the thing, right? I feel like you're hypnotised like growing up. Like, you see everyone around you work, because we've grew up in this town and seen people go in factories, and you think, oh, that's normal.
Right? Do you know what it is? Right? I was thinking about that yesterday, right? And this is the conclusion I came to. So, like, in one hand, you have what's called moral duty, right? So, moral duty could be to your family, to your kids, what you perceive to be like of your value system. It's like, this is what matters to me. And on the other hand, you have servitude, right? So, the baby boomers and the ones before them, that, like that guy in that video, they sort of tie moral duty with servitude. They think that servitude in itself should be a moral duty, and it's like, no. Your servitude should be to yourself. Right. You know what I mean? You're putting those hours into yourself, to your own development, because if I do something I love, I'll do 70 hours a week, like this podcast, because I fucking love doing it.
Yeah, I got
you know what I mean? Because that my moral duty is servitude to myself. I shit you not, right? On Instagram, I saw yesterday a commercial from 1993 where it's like a headset for your actual big chunky telephone.
Oh, really? Like the house phone?
It starts off with all women on the phone, and it drops into like the cereal bowl, the mixing bowl that she was making, or whatever she was making with. And next thing you know, all your problems are solved with this fucking headset.
Advertisement back then, it's like, everything was kind of a joke. It's like, no one's fucking dropping their phone in the cereal. Like, they'll use that and you'll sort of take it. Now adverts are pure technical, man. Like, it's pure.
It's mind.
It's
warfare.
Nothing but emotional blackmail.
I hate adverts more than anything, bro.
It's been that
you
way
want your
for a
kids to
long
have
time.
this toy, then you better fucking.
It's so underhanded.
You want them to cry.
Advertising is so aggressive and so underhanded, man. I hate that more than anything. That's one of my biggest peeves.
This will make you laugh, right? So I used to work at Haven Holiday Parks, and the way the interior design of this building was is that the arcade was in the middle of the building, so you can get to anywhere without going through those arcades.
Okay.
And obviously all the kids pulling on their parents. Give me a pound.
That was the whole business model, isn't
but
it?
Plus,
like,
arcades
everybody's change. Everybody who
Yeah,
passes through there get all their change. Like, that's a perfect business model.
My mum used to
Sneaky,
live in
isn't it?
right? Not even that long ago. I'd be like, "Can we go to the arcades?" And I'm fucking like nearly 30, man. Here's a couple quid for the arcade, man.
My dad had a canal boat up at Billing for a little while.
Yeah, that's why my mum was in Billing. Yeah.
Fond memories.
Yeah, man. It's a shitty arcade, but it's still an arcade, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter if it's got a 2p machine and some shit.
I think the staple of a good arcade is if they have Time Crisis 2.
Oh, I love Time Crisis 2.
If you got Time Crisis 2 with the blue and the pink gun, so you and your pal can go on it. That's the shit, man.
Like the fucking Unreal one.
Yeah,
we went to Spain and I was in that arcade, like, it was sunny, and I was just like, Mum, fucking another pound, let me complete this fucking game.
I think me and my cousin done it in Blackpool, Sunny Days Arcade.
Never completed it though. Never completed it.
I can't claim to have completed it. That would be a lie.
But
I would love to say
it's on PS2, and you can get we should fucking get it, because then you have to pay
Bring
for
it back,
just
man.
fucking,
But you look on YouTube and some guy's done it in 3 minutes or some shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I was going to say,
I found a glitch in this corner in my
back
fucking...
in the day. I feel like I knew the Time Crisis, the first level. I just knew where everyone was going to be. Like, I played it so often.
Yeah, and you do a little technique with the pedal where you like dart in and out.
That's right. That's mad. That's a good throwback. I haven't thought about that in ages. That's what I was talking about, like doing the podcast with you guys, like last time.
Yeah, because we can just bring up one thing and then bam.
It's like lead you down
Ghost
little
of
paths.
Tsushima then.
Ghost of Tsushima.
That rings a bell.
Good game.
Not played it. I've not really played any of those.
Talk me through
Dark Souls. I was saying to him a couple of weeks ago, I really want to play Dark Souls and those sorts of games. Is that sort of Ghost of Tsushima is one of the From Software games? Isn't it?
I don't know if it's like that.
They made
Do you
it.
want to
They
go
made
there?
No, I don't.
I'll
Samurai
die on my
swords.
sword right if I get
Yeah.
this wrong, but I'm sure From Software, the dudes who make Dark
Samurai
Souls.
swords.
They are, aren't they?
What's that? Ghost of Tsushima's like that's from Sucker Punch Games, I think, which is like another like that's its own
They
entity.
made the samurai game. Didn't
They've
That's
done one
hard
called
as shit.
Sekiro,
That's
which is
Shadows
like
Die Twice.
that game probably ate up about 18 months of my life, man. I'm not even exaggerating. Like,
So,
there was days where I was ready to smash my telly. Like, I was more than willing to put my telly through the window because it was so infuriating. Like, I can't even begin to describe how
I said this
infuriating
to
that
him on the
game
last
was.
podcast. I had to snap Black Ops 1 once because I got addicted to it.
I had a friend who...
I woke up one morning like, that's it, and then 3 weeks later I was up at Andy like, Black Ops 1, mate.
Yeah, I'll have it again. Yeah. I had a mate who used to play... he played COD.
Yeah.
But it was exclusively the zombies
Yeah, that's
part of the game.
I did.
But he had a bag of controllers because he used to smash controllers off the floor and off the wall.
I was never that bad. I was never a rager. I was more of just like, I'm getting addicted.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But that's my personality, man. Give me some black tar heroin.
I get addicted to... I said to this guy at work today that I get addicted to things. I was like, I get addicted to noodles and that. And he's like, he was pissing himself. Mate, I get addicted to like ramen. Like, you know ramen noodles? Once I started eating them bad boys, man, like...
We got to tell you something in a second about
ramen
noodles.
But you start getting like quite fancy with your preparation, and you start using different spices and that. Do you know what I mean? To like make it a bit more interesting.
Drop a spring onion or something.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Or an egg.
Cheeky bit of garlic.
Chuck an egg in it.
That's a David Tang classic.
That's a David Tang. Let it be known. Chuck an egg in your ramen. That's it.
What's your ramen story?
Oh no, what it was
it's
like.
not going to be as exhilarating as that one.
No.
So what's exhilarating?
What would happen was right. So we started this podcast back in February of 2021.
No,
yeah.
January 31st, 2021.
Oh, right, okay.
Actually.
And then we just, because it was lockdown, we just started getting in the habit of it. We just thought we built up this work ethic. Well, let's try and, we did 1 launch a week, and then we thought, let's push it to 2 launches a week.
Yeah,
but we were really spreading ourselves thin for many reasons.
Guests.
For guests,
For
yeah.
guests and the editing side, because then we'd have to fucking be like...
time.
Cram
So-
it. You were doing a South Park. I call that a South Park.
Then get the clips for Instagram to
Done in
share,
7
and
days.
It was just
Yeah.
getting, like, mental. I was never sleeping. I was like...
Hold that thought, by the way, about the South Park things. That you just ignited a brain cell in me, right? So hold that thought for South Park,
Okay.
right? But yeah, so what we were spreading ourselves too thin. And we're doing, even though I wasn't working, I was being furloughed. We're doing 2 releases, 1 on a Monday, 1 on a Friday, right? So we're basically just grabbing any arsehole. No, we're not saying that Jack's an arsehole, right? But no, you were way later. Don't worry.
You were a good one.
Yeah. This was like the first. This is the first 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Right? And what happened was, we got one guy on. He was a friend from school. He was from Japan. And
He
all
wasn't
that.
from Japan. He
No.
moved
Sorry.
to Japan.
He moved to Japan, right? And he was living there, right? As an
Right.
expat. And me and him had just done a podcast for 3 hours with our mate Elliot, and we got
Getting drunk and
really.
stoned.
He got really stoned, and I got really drunk. Right, and we're like, right, podcast number 2, let's do it. Right, record.
In the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like
Bear in
12.
mind, this guy's in Japan, so he's on like a different time.
So it's like 1 in the morning, and like as soon as you press, it's not on YouTube anymore, right?
We took it down.
As
Where
soon
are the hard
as you
drives?
press play, I'm like, all right, so we got
like-
Jack here. So we're like, and
Totally unprofessional,
no offense
right?
to this guy. No offense to this guy. I like him. He seems like a good human being.
Yeah,
But he was the most boring motherfucker we've ever interviewed, right? And we're just like, this is a scene.
You're boring.
Grew up with this guy and just...
He's a boring motherfucker, right? So I just said to him, I was like, what's great about Japan, mate? He's like, ramen noodles.
That's what he
So
said.
I was telling him about
I'm
France. I
sure.
was like, there's certain things when I lived in France that you couldn't get in the UK. You know what I mean? So I was like, what about you in Japan? He's like, ramen noodles. But you can buy them in M&S. You know what I mean? It's not like you're that far away from.
Yeah.
So and what was the point of trying to make? So for months, me and him.
Boring motherfucker.
So for months, me and him make this joke. We're just like, ramen noodles.
But like,
That was
I
the
bet that like transpired to something else by the end of like by the time you were done with it, it wasn't what he originally said. You were going like ramen noodles or something like. Because I was talking about like tour life, man, recently, and like some jokes used to get like they used to get a hole in the ground dug for the minute, and you would. Bury them in the ground. Like something would be
like
said that was funny.
Elaborated and
Yeah, something was said that was funny in Thurso in Scotland, and then by the time you know it, you're in like Cardiff. But you're all doing it like completely different. You know what I mean? So much more animated. Like I can't even think of a good like.
I'm thinking of not bad.
Not bad. Yeah,
Just because
something
it's
like that.
embellished
But like
upon.
by the end of it, by the time you're done with it, it's fucking something
Oh,
completely
mate, we must have
different
done
and crazy.
that into the
Like.
ground last year with so much shit. What just fucking name one.
I thought of the one that I
Name a
was
stupid
thinking
thing
of,
from
and
last
it's
year.
We got a few zingers here and there.
A few bazingas, yeah.
Bazinga.
So. Do you like skateboarding?
We could talk about skateboarding. But
Yes. No,
think
it's
about
fine.
South Park.
Oh yeah, South Park.
Park.
Thank you. Oh man, right, cool. This is what's great when you got multiple people here. So if you do
Yeah.
lose a tangent, right. So with South Park, like I was watching this video about behind the scenes of them recording because
Okay.
it was explaining the whole documentary was basically the creative process with them creating South Park, and I was blown away. I was like, that's one hell of a work ethic, because they're basically writing the script. Within 5 days, they've got it all, and the way the animation style of it is what makes it so unique, because it makes it easy to produce.
Yeah,
you know.
At the start, they were literally using the paper cutouts.
Exactly. And one of the things that always cracked me up was when they showed you them doing the voiceovers.
Yeah.
And they bring in Bill Hader for one of the episodes.
Did he do the cop? Maybe did he do?
He done quite a few of them, but I'm paraphrasing here. But I just love the one where they bring Bill Hader in and they're saying, he goes. Britches. You go, hey, shit his britches like a britches Holocaust, right? And they're just cracking up while they're doing it.
Yeah. That's a big part of my childhood, man. South Park. But then, like, I couldn't claim to be like an intellectual on like anything past season 3, maybe. Do you know what I mean? And it's like in its 30s or something. I don't know.
Scott
like,
Tenorman must die, mate.
Yeah.
What season's that? Like 9?
I don't know, but that's my favourite.
I think I'm like 9 to 12.
Yeah, I think I don't even think I watched it up till when they actually killed Kenny. Kenny actually got killed, didn't he? And didn't come back.
Yeah, he wasn't in it for like 4, 5, and 6, and then brought him back.
Right. See, I don't know any of that. Yeah, so like,
that's what I'm saying. 5, 6. I'm a bit blurry on, but then we got to like the fucking World of Warcraft episodes. That's when I got into South Park.
That was one of my like obsessions. Like I literally like that was one of my earliest memories of when I was like I had to have anything that had South Park on it. It was like I had to have. Like, they had these like big chunky key rings, man. You could probably knock a kid out with one of them, man. It was like a big lump of club. Like it was like massive, big plastic thing. I had the whole line. Do you know what I mean? And these big teddies, they would have been worth a bomb now, man. But I ain't got them anymore. But yeah, that was my first experience of being like I had to have everything that was like South Park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it was The Simpsons. I got into The Simpsons after that.
Mine was fucking like Star Wars up until like even now actually, fuck it.
Yeah,
I still love Star Wars.
I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings. I love all that shiz.
You know,
mate, one of the tunes. I've got Lord of the Rings in the bars on this Flash Peasants.
What's your favourite Lord of the Rings film? It's got to be Two Towers, isn't it?
My instinct there was to say Two Towers.
Yeah, same here.
I like to think that Return of the Ring's my favourite. Return of the King's my
Return of the Ring.
favourite.
That's the gay porno. Return of the Thumb Rings.
Return of the Ring.
It's my favourite porno. Actually.
I watched them like back to back for the first time ever this year.
It's got no because Return of the King's
First time ever.
First time ever, mate. So like when we used to hang out with Appleyard back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember trying to watch it, the first one at his, and fell asleep. And then like multiple times trying to watch the first Lord of the Rings Fellowship. Yeah. Kept falling asleep. And then this year I was like, right, I'm going to watch them. I've been told they're good. And I watched all 3 of them, like 3.5 hour like uncut edits, like back to back.
They're the fucking best.
So I don't even really see it as 3 different movies now. Like I've watched it as one whole entity, and like that was sick watching it like that.
With the books, it's like the lines blur with where how the books go to the movies. That was the shittest sentence ever, but you just know what I meant.
It's the same with Game of Thrones, because he didn't finish it, did he? So they had to guess
the last few episodes of Game of Thrones.
Oh, they're laughable, mate. They're fucking. That's comedy gold. That is. That's
so is that where? Is this where R.R. Martin? That's this George R.R. Martin. Is that where he took over to writing in Game of Thrones, or did he write?
No, he wrote the books.
Wrote it.
And he's not finished the books yet.
So what?
So when they got to the end of season 6, that's all just fucking gobbledygook. That's season 7 and 8. Right. Oh, that's crazy. So they're like, and he's not even finished it. He's not even writing it.
I think he done 5 books. So the last book came out in 2011. I haven't read the stuff. I'm not into fantasy.
The guy's just sitting on his fucking laurels, man. I love it.
But what happened was, as a writer, that's something that terrifies me going forward as a writer. Well,
that don't terrify me because I've been writing my books since fucking.
No, but what would terrify me is the thought that millions of people are waiting for your next book, and you think I got nothing.
Yeah, I suppose no one's seen.
You strike me as being able to do like non-fiction and stuff as well as.
I like to try different genres, you know what I mean? I like to play around with it. There's a French term, I think they call it auteur, which is like, you know, like you get a filmmaker like Christopher Nolan, they call him an auteur. He's like, because he tries different genres. He's freestyle. You know what I mean? Like it's like with musicians as well, you get different musicians that try different genres of music because it's like they have so much love and reverence for their art form.
Reggae album.
Who?
Snoop Dogg's reggae album, Snoop Lion.
It's not always going to work.
I actually banged that at the time, but
I mean, everyone did it at the time, but no one knows it now. Right?
I feel really bad for like those Rastas because didn't Snoop like go to Jamaica and like promise the Rasta, whoever the big,
that was
not the actual Rastafari, but like whoever was the main guy. He like went for permission to become Snoop Lion. Yeah. Promised him that it wasn't a gimmick. Like promised him he wasn't doing reggae as a gimmick. And it's like
I think that's interesting.
No, but you are gonna though, aren't you, Snoop? And it's like next record.
The next record.
He's not Snoop Lion anymore. That was just the thing. He just tapped into that market.
I just wanted to touch on what you were saying about the auteur thing, because that is interesting, because me and this guy, like, I remember seeing him like working out Eminem bass lines back in the day. So that's just one like little like strange memory that I've got in the Slovenian bunker bomb shelter.
Yeah,
we're on tour in Europe in Slovenia in a bomb shelter with our other band, like early project, This Ocean Between, and like some of the other guys are off like at the supermarket. I was quite young, man. I must have been like 18 maybe.
You were all 18.
And you were like sitting 20s. With like a little CD player, and you had your bass out, but you were listening to the Slim Shady LP.
Yeah,
and you were jamming along to that.
Yeah.
And like I think that's such a mad like.
Well, no, the bass tunes.
You know what I mean? Coalition, but like just the fact that we were in this heavy breakneck metal band, in this metalcore band, but you're jamming along like working out the bass lines to the Slim Shady record, and then years later. We both play instruments. We could choose to go up and maybe have drums on stage or like play fucking synths or whatever with this project, the Flash Peasants project. Yeah, sorry to bring it back to reality.
No, I was just saying like because you know
that's interesting what you're saying, because we could do that, but I feel like it's just all about the words at the minute, isn't it? Really,
we're the same with writing. Like we want to produce, we want to write, we want to do films, we want to direct, we want to do all that shit as well.
It's hard to just choose one. I've got another project called The Good Apples that I do.
Well, that's it. Every creative person has a voice, right? And it's one of the best feelings in the world in anything, whether it be music or writing, where you finally find your voice and you think, right, now I have my voice. I want to now take that into different elements, different genres, and how does my voice translate? And you know, it's hard work, because you got to really kind of you got to be flexible. You got to be adaptable.
Yeah,
the Bruce Lee thing, isn't it? Like the best style is no style at all, and it's
exactly, yeah.
It's
the same with music.
Just don't be afraid to do stuff. Like try stuff.
Yeah, it's the same with music. So when someone's like, you put on a bit of music and they're like, oh, that's too heavy. It's like, just enjoy it.
I feel like that's what's good
either
about
way.
this
If you don't
EP
like
that
it,
we're
you
dropping.
don't have to have your opinion.
Yeah,
music's subjective, isn't it? Like, everyone enjoys something different.
I think that's what we're trying to achieve on this EP, isn't it?
I love metal, death metal, fucking every chord, but I love Empire of the Sun.
Yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta be open,
me and him though, Kate Nash, Made of Bricks, the whole record.
Good record.
That's a great record. That's a great
word
record.
For word. It was the only CD we had in the van.
Yeah, that wasn't metal, I guess, isn't it? We had Ruin by Architects.
Oh yeah, we did, yeah.
Like Recovery Fault as well. They had a mad little like Deftones
Recovery
vibe
Fault
to
were more
Deftones
emo metalcore. Under Oath was a big influence on.
Who else? You ever remember Paul Murray's band?
Run Amongst Wolves.
Yeah,
I certainly do remember that band.
Yeah,
right.
Great band.
I've got a question for you guys, right? This is for you as well, Shaun, right? So I remember growing up, you know, because the internet wasn't really around, you'd hear certain songs, and then if you didn't know the name of that song, you're fucked.
Yeah, good luck.
Right? There was no 258. I remember using, when I was like a teenager, I used 2580 and then call it, and then you put it up to the speaker and it tell you what that song was, right?
Oh, that's really? Like Shazam, bro.
Yeah.
Shazam on
that was
paper.
old school Shazam. But the thing was, the question I'm going to ask is, like, at what point did you kind of come online to, oh, this is the music I like?
Because what do you mean?
Well, I'll give you an example, right? Like, I didn't really start embracing music until I was a late bloomer. I want to say I was 13 years old when I started getting a friend, because I didn't have a computer, I didn't have internet. I'd have a friend take my MP3, put some songs on it. You could get about 30 on there, and he'd give it back to me.
So you were like listening to other people's music instead of your own. You were like,
yeah. At what point I was like, oh, that's that genre, rock music or grunge music or.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
No,
and I was like, I came on.
What you mean.
I'd hear it playing out of someone's window.
Differentiating between different like genres of music, where it stems from, like in the country and that. That was probably the same as me. Like when I got to like senior school, like I'd heard so much music from when I was a kid. So like, not to discredit that, but like when I got to school, it was like some of the kids in my class were listening to like Nirvana, Chili Peppers, and that was like different to me, because I've got 3 older brothers. They were listening to hip hop. You know what I mean? Tupac, Biggie, like Ice Cube, and like this sort of thing. And my mum and dad were into like country, Roy Orbison, this sort of thing. So like you're saying, like that was the first time I started differentiating between different sounds. You know what I mean? Because some of them were listening to like punk, but then some of them were listening to Slipknot, and like that was an explosion at that time, man. I met you. I probably knew you before I knew you as a person, because you were a
grunger.
You were a grunger. What do you call a grunger? You were a punk rocker. You had green hair. I swear.
Wait and Bleed changed the game for me, I think, when I heard that blasting in my mate's garden.
What's that?
Slipknot, Wait and Bleed. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Slipknot anymore, but when I heard Wait and Bleed for the first time, I was like, what is that?
I think generally you could tell, like, there was a fewer subcategories. But it was like you're either what I would have called a trendy.
Yeah, trendy.
Or a grunger. Yeah. But even within the grunges, there was your subcategories of like
chemo.
Don't call me grunge.
Scene Kid.
I like pop punk.
Do you remember Scene Kids?
Yeah.
With the checkered bands?
I'm not an emo, I'm a fucking skater.
I was for sure a part of that wave. For sure a part of
I definitely had a fringe as well.
I was going to say, I liked hip hop, but I was like, kind of like, kept my grunge side secretly.
What category did I fall into? Because I
always went raving gigs.
Did you define yourself by music?
I don't know, because I just wore bell bottoms and had greasy hair, so I don't know.
That's kind of like indie.
70s revival.
That's quite indie.
Gay.
I do remember when I started like to define myself by my clothing, by my music, like wearing I had a lyric in Dark History about like, I wear my influences on my sleeve. Yeah. I won't change. You know what I mean? That was the lyric.
This isn't a phase, Mom.
Yeah. So like, I remember that. But when that happened was when I'd first ever experienced anyone like trying to bully me. Do you know what I mean? 100%. And like the both of that happening, it was like I'm trying to express myself, but then I'm being like shot down. But it was almost part of like you had to like.
No, it is. I was just jealousy as well, man.
Deal with it. Do you know what I mean?
I get I might be totally wrong here, but I feel like now because everyone's got access to every song that's ever been created and like millions more being uploaded every single day.
You try and find the original sex
like
style by
people
Kool
aren't getting into niches like it's not like everyone's listening to Linkin Park or
like what would you explain?
Everyone's listening,
and the problem is as well is like you get like these postmodernist cunts that want to like make its own genre.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's. I feel like kids now, because it's like your playlist way of consuming
algorithm.
They can listen to some really heavy shit and then some bouncy shit.
Yeah, that's what man plays.
Because they know it's going to be over in a couple of minutes anyway.
What would you describe Death Havana? Is it Death Havana? Death Heaven, actually. Death Heaven.
Death Haven.
Death Haven. That album.
I know Death Havana.
What would you describe that?
I don't know that I know it well enough to describe it at all.
Death Haven.
Yeah.
There's Death Haven, there's Death Havana, and I can say some shit about it.
It's not Death Havana. It's Death Haven, and they have it's like constant like noise,
ominous,
and then you get the random like squeals in the deep guttural, but it's like not front line and center. It's like in the background.
I don't want to say I'm a naysayer of technology like at all, because obviously I completely depend on it like every other human.
Well, I've come up with a new term
in the Western world.
I've come up with a new term for people like us.
Okay.
Right. So there's a term called Luddite. Luddite, this is not the word I'm using, this word already exists, but a Luddite is someone who's kind of against change, against technological advancement.
Scared of change.
But now I'm seeing a new, and I put this in my book, and I called it a neo-Luddite. People who are they agree with technology, but they don't agree in the direction in which it's going.
Right.
So we're neo-Luddites.
But does that make us like... what's
that
word when you're like a sub, you're not a dominant, you're a...
Yeah, submissive.
A submissive, yeah. Like we're also almost submitting to it. And the only reason I ask is because I watched an interesting documentary about Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. And that was very interesting, man, because like on the surface of it, it's like, oh, it's this fucking nut job who's like bombing scientists indiscriminately. Like it was a mad story, do you know what I mean? But it ties in with his fear and paranoia of the Industrial Revolution, how it's affecting human beings mentally and emotionally. And I don't agree with his methods of getting out there, but that was his way of getting his message out. Do you know what I mean? Because he was so frightened of it. Like, and he did see, he wrote this fucking 35,000 word manifesto,
yeah,
and had it printed in the paper. Do you know what I mean? And it was all about the Industrial Revolution, and how he was scared of technology, and how it was going to advance to a point where we become
plugged into the Matrix and work in a 40-hour week.
Yeah,
I mean 40 hours ain't the end of the world.
No, yeah, we're not like coming here and being like, boys, tell everybody.
No, but give me a second.
Let's go back to that.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Because there's something I want to tell you guys. Right, this is completely. I'm completely understand what you're saying already before you've even said it. Right, I did a little bit of maths. Right, I don't disagree with the 40-hour work week as well, because we've already mentioned before that if you love doing something, you do it every day of every hour. Right, so we all agree with that. It's all about, is this for my purpose? Right, but the point. It's not just 40 hours though, right? So I broke it down. There's 168 hours in a week, right?
Yeah.
Deduct 40 from that, what you're left with. I'm not very good at maths, but I'm going to assume it's 118. 28. There we go. Right.
Yeah.
And then every most people on average sleep between, let's just say for argument's sake, we sleep 7 hours a day. So that's 49 hours, right? You deduct that from the 128, and then it's like responsibilities. taking a dump, having a shower, you know, taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
you
take your kids to school.
Yeah, take your kids to school.
That's a big one.
Feeding yourself, you know, and then what are you left with, right? I don't know. I'm just saying, but that net number is going to be low.
Yeah, it's
and it's like, so it's not a 40-hour work week, is it? Like that whole, you know, bullshit trickle down economics, Reaganomics kind of, you know, 8 hours to work, 8 hours for recreation, 8 hours for sleep. It's like,
yes, bollocks. Because the preparation and everything like, comes into the hours pre.
2 generations ago, people are jumping at the chance for that though, and that's important to remember. That's why I know people come at the whole subject with that angle. It's like, you've got to work for your money. You better work for it.
I know what you're saying. It's like, yeah. We're going down a deep rabbit hole. So, but I just want to.
The main thing with a 3-day week is, first of all, it's tongue in cheek, and there's a lyric in the song that kind of ties it up from the last verse that's saying, if we can't have a 3-day week, let's start with 4. So it's like the song's aware of itself. The song's asking for too much, but
that is the main point.
That's how we make those. We make those changes by just challenging.
Well, Finland and Sweden
or whatever.
Yeah, it's about bringing like awareness more than like we're not trying. Like we are trying to change minds, but we're not aggressively trying to force messages.
I'm not an economist, so I can't tell you exactly.
But here's the thing, right?
I'm just saying, can we get our best people looking onto this one straight away, please?
So let me tell you this then, right? So Finland, I think it's Finland and Sweden, did a test with some of their employees that work for the state, and they found they put them down onto a 4-day week, right? Or it was either 4-day week or it was 6 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
And they found, I think in Finland, it worked like a treat. They tried it in Sweden to mix results, but you know what I mean. So it is being tested out there. So it's good to see what conclusion we come to. But again, I think it goes back to that root cause. Are you happy doing what you're doing anyway? Because it's that moral duty and servitude. You're serving someone else's dreams.
Gains, like
you know what I mean. It's like what's my cut of it, and it's always going to be less than what you put in, always.
This is it, man. When you work, and even just an 8-hour day, like you say, it equates to more than that. Like, and you do spend the majority of your time at work with people that you necessarily wouldn't necessarily spend your time with.
Would you say that 3-day week is somehow lockdown inspired? Did it come about through that time? Because the reason why I bring that up,
written in that time, but I think Crooks was always sort of advocating these.
I think it started before the lockdown. The 3-day week was the first tune of this collection of tunes, but it was probably the last one to be finished. Funnily enough,
because you've seen, I kind of made a little bit of a prediction at the beginning of 2021. I was saying I think you're going to see might even been in 2020. I was saying because of all this going on now, you're going to see the death of the urban environment, because people found out they can work from their second home, or they can work in the countryside. They don't need to be living, 20 years from now, London, Manchester, Birmingham. They're just going to become distribution hubs.
A lot of people are working from home.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but you're just going to see distribution hubs.
I think that's a great thing. I think that we need to learn lessons from the pandemic, because as a great British public, we've got the memory span of a goldfish. Like, we've got such short-term memories.
Oh yeah.
I do think that we benefit from
it's that job satisfaction,
learning the lessons. We need to learn the lessons. People we found out whose jobs were completely insignificant to the economy, didn't we?
Do you know another interesting thing as well is that now that during that time, especially in America, a lot of kids were getting homeschooled, but like not homeschooled, but like they're being schooled through Zoom chats and whatnot. And the parents were seeing what the teachers were teaching them, and they were like, "What the fuck are my kids learning?" Really? And a lot, especially in America, they've been homeschooling kids.
That's interesting.
Because they're indoctrinating
I love how
kids.
You can take that 2 ways, because there's the way of what are my kids learning, and then there's the other one where it's like dad's taking notes. What are my kids learning? Actually, I'm learning something.
2 + 2 = 4. Holy shit!
Free course.
No, but like
that's how you cook a bacon sarnie.
Don't get me wrong. I was saying I was saying to Shaun on the last podcast, I was saying like when we went to school, I was kind of like there was a lot of shit I didn't agree with, like the whole conformity thing, the whole make sure your top button's done up and all that.
Were you in a Catholic school?
Nah, I was
being in a Catholic school made me a non-believer. Believe it or not, my mum had to put me out of our ladies, put me in stuff.
That's actually a similar.
Because I was questioning shit. I was like, so how the fuck is there a man in the sky? And I think I was a bit before my time. And like my teachers were telling my mum. I think I was a bit of a rapscallion as well, to be fair to you. But because I used to just go to the bathroom naked and that, like fuck it, like I'm not even joking. I remember this is a funny story actually. I remember I can't believe I just thought of this. Anyway, I remember obviously it's like year 1. Alright, I'm not gonna go too deep.
Setting the scene.
I have to set the scene. they go on for about a day telling about. I can just hear Spike laughing in the back.
Just get to the fucking
anyway,
point.
right, sorry. Right, I met this guy in year 1. Friends, butt naked to the bathroom, used to pee, just fucking pee and that. And then I got kicked out of that school, went to another school, went to senior school. He came into our school, met him, became best mates. He was then telling me a story on Xbox Live one time. Oh, I used to know this guy used to go to the bathroom butt naked and that. And I was like, no way, that was me, bro. He was like, no. I was like, yeah, man.
What do you mean? Like when you had to use the John, like you had to strip down fully naked?
And everyone would get changed in the classroom when you're younger.
Because like what I'm gathering is like you're sitting in class, you're like, miss, I need to go to the bathroom. And, like,
it would be PE. It would be PE, and you'd get changed in the class, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I would just get butt naked.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, I need to pee now.
Do you remember the kids that would just fucking have the trousers by the kids
to
down
the
their ankles?
Like, come back in with it.
I wasn't that guy. I wasn't
Mate,
that guy.
there was a kid in our school and he peed in the urinal. He would pull his pants and his trousers down to his ankles.
That's the Mark Office.
That's the Mark Office. Blink 182. Urethra Chronicles, man.
I won't go too deep, but there was a reason I was so fucked up as a kid.
Yeah, no, it's a legit reason.
There's a legit reason I was a bit fucked in the head and I didn't. But yeah, anyway, I got butt naked. He remembered a couple of years later, and it was me.
Yeah.
And then
You know, we used to have
think like, I'm not saying I'm stoating around naked or that I go to like naturist parks or anything, but I think we're not naked enough in society now.
Yeah.
Do you know, I feel like
it's
that.
a bit taboo now, isn't it?
I feel like that in July. You know, it gets really hot in Weymouth. And I'm just laying there fucking in my underwear and I'm like, I can't take any more clothes off. I'm fucking boiling.
But you want that last layer off because that's constricting you.
It's just my fucking skeletal muscle
Weymouth,
system.
if I remember it right, is way down in the southwest.
Yeah, when the southwest country bumpkins.
I think Shaun and I, the last time Shaun and I were there was with the very first band that we were in together, The Ocean Between. I think, had we...
I don't know if we're getting Tamworth and Weymouth.
No, Tamworth is Midlands. So
but
Weymouth,
we've been both, haven't we?
Weymouth is when we didn't have a van. The van broke down.
Okay.
So we travelled down. There was
six of
us in the band, right?
Yeah.
And so we went down for this 6-hour journey in an estate car with no seats in the back. So there was the seat for the driver and a seat for one of the band. 5 of us sat in the back, like legs
with guitars,
legs crossed with our guitars, like for 6 hours to Weymouth.
I think I was in Bobby.
Yeah, it was Bobby's car.
Was it?
But we all went in that.
That's right.
What year was this?
That's 2008,
maybe.
That's when I moved there. I moved there in June 2008.
What's like the venue around there called? Is there a little
I mean, you got one kind of like heavy metal bar called Finn's. Finn's is alright. You know, because
it'd be a stretch to say it was the same bar.
Because the guy who owns it, he's part of a Guns N' Roses tribute band called Big Guns. And it's always a good night when that's going on.
I feel like I'm like bouncing all over the shop. Like I can't finish what I'm trying to say.
But this is what this podcast is about, though.
I do like this. Your style is
tangents.
very informal and
jokey.
It's fun. That guy from Scary Movie when he did the
Officer Duffy, Dave Sheridan.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was good as well because, like,
really
cool.
It's
like my mum says, you don't ask, you don't get. And I just emailed him. I was like, you want to come on our podcast? He's like, yeah, all right.
Such a good shout because it's one of those that you can.
Makes you think that maybe we do live in a simulation because it's too easy sometimes.
Dude, I've like
Craig
so
Barker,
many. Going back to the guys from Akoda because I kind of like shut it down with Jake there just because through the fear of spilling the beans on any of the stuff that I'm not supposed to.
We don't have to say shit.
But like going on that note of living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Old Jay in Yard Act. You guys heard the new Yard Act album?
I think so.
You heard of Yard Act?
Yeah.
So Jay Russell, who was the drummer in Akoda and who's produced like a lot of the Flash Peasants material, particularly the first EP, has been playing drums in this band Yard Act from Leeds, and they've proper blown up since live music's come back. They've been out in America doing South by Southwest. They played he was saying to me the other day when we were FaceTiming that he feels like he's living in a simulation because they were going on the Jimmy Fallon show, the Tonight Show in America. They've gone and done that now, and then like the day after they announced that they were supporting Jack White in Amsterdam or something sweet like that.
Trippy.
And it's like stuff's happening for the pals that, you know, there's a lot to moan about in the world, but there's good things happening for
people.
I
always think it all comes around, man. We're putting the effort in, you get it back.
What's your belief? You know? What's your view on like manifestation?
Karma.
I believe like it's a thing to a certain extent. Like, I believe I can fly. Well, it depends what your definition of flying is, mate. Like, we might be able to make that happen, but if we're talking Superman, that, you know, we're not quite there.
Is it a man of science versus a man of faith kind of thing?
No, like what I guess I mean by that is like, you can't. It's not like I can be anything I can dream of. I can be anything I can imagine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that ain't true. You do need to have some expectations, but you'd be surprised in what you can get done if you remove barriers in your own mind, your own restrictions, your own limitations, and apply yourself to one specific thing. Like you can actually, you know, you're bound to get an
it's a weird one because I was looking at I was reading a book about explaining postmodernism by Stephen R. Hicks.
Can you define postmodernism for Shaun?
You can describe it, but you can't really truly define it. That's the problem with postmodernism. Okay. But it gives you a sort of breakdown on sort of the cultures beforehand, and it looks at like pre-modernism. Pre-modernism is based on like faith, tradition, and mysticism. You know, I mean, you sort of believe in this deity or monolith. What do they call it? Monotheism.
Oh, you know monolith.
Monolith. I was just fucking stabbing in the dark.
And they're a good guess though.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's Space Odyssey, that one. Okay. Right. But they pre-modernists, those who were indoctrinated by Christianity or Islam, especially back in the day, you know, it was tied to the idea that, you know, it's again traditions, mysticism, and faith, right? But then when you get to the Renaissance period, you start to see people start to look at what's called a more modernist outlook in life. Like maybe they deny God and think, well, what is my purpose?
God is dead.
You start to look at like nihilism, and people who have a basic understanding of nihilism might assume that, oh, it just means that what's the point in life? And it's like, not necessarily. You have a more positive outlook of it. You have what's called existential nihilism. It's like, we don't know why we're here, we don't know where we're going, or what's after this.
Okay.
But it's up to us as the individual to find meaning within this reality. That's existential nihilism. It's like
I do think there's like Shaun and I talk about this a lot. Like everyone, you know, it's good for pals to talk about mental health issues, whatever form that may be. We kind of describe Flash Peasants as like staring into the void, but like laughing back at it. So it's like it's okay to go to that spot, that sort of nihilistic place, and think no one gives a fuck, and
it's like
you shouldn't care about anything.
It goes back to that guy again in that video. You know, it's like it takes a lot of courage to be able to look at yourself and think, oh no, what my previous values were meaningless, or they weren't to the purpose I was striving towards.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of courage to take a step back and reflect and kind of put the pieces back together again and be like, right, cool, I'm going to go back in another direction now. Whereas someone just think, I spent my whole life working all these hours, and it's like, that guy wasn't willing to, and a lot of people aren't willing to think, oh, you know what, maybe I should reassess.
I think that's interesting now, because with you saying that there, I kind of would relate that to the sort of evolution of the music that Shaun and I have worked on together, like firstly with Vocoder and then now with Flash Peasants. Like with Vocoder, it was almost like we were young men passionate about whatever it was we were shouting about, but there was a self-righteousness to it, and it was sort of like, fuck you, let's change the world, kind of, you know what I mean? Trying not just everything in a whole, but with a bit of a sort of positive uplift to it. But when you the refreshing thing about Flash Peasants, I suppose, is that we've come back to it, and we've kind of not shelved that self-righteousness, but it's like, it's music, it's got to be fun and entertaining as well.
And it's the journey itself as well, the places it's going to take you, right? You got to take the good, the bad with the ugly as well, right?
100%.
So
100%.
if you just cashed in and said, you know what, I'm just going to have a family and just work this job that doesn't inspire me, and that's it, and then go to the pub after I'm done working, and that's it, and just piss away my life, or I'm going to do what you guys do and meet some interesting people out there. And create some fucking memories.
That is the fun part of it, because it's like Shaun and I are, like you just described, we're like family men. We've both got children, both got wives. We're both working full time, and we do Flash Peasants. So it's like
found balance.
It's just little hours here and there, though. It's literally when we've got some spare time. So you
have what's called they call it a side hustle, but sooner or later,
Gary Vee shit.
But you have talent, and sooner or later, and you have passion, and you have the work ethic. You know, again, you love it so much, you would do it fucking 70 hours a week.
Music, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We just want to perform music.
The whole point is that it's empowering for us. That's the main reason we like it and can keep doing it, because it's like that creative outlet. You can kind of say your piece about, you know, your social commentary.
What you see.
And you guys are, getting popular, really popular. I'm seeing it. I see it on your social medias. I see it. Like people are excited for what's coming next.
Yeah, I think we haven't got a huge social media following, but I think
that's what's good about all this shit.
The fans do like
networking,
sowing seeds. I say the fans, like it's our mates and the people that listen to the music. They do seem to be engaging with it. So the people that like it really like it. You know what I mean? So they're the people they're the only people we care about.
I drift towards it.
The idea is
you're into the same sort of music I'm into.
Yeah.
So like resonates with me like the fucking MF Dooom and all that, like them sorts of beats, the weird trippy beats, and then the jazzy shit. And you know what I mean? I love that shit.
Flash Peasants is like a vessel, isn't it? To just like.
And I say shit in a good way, by the way. Not, I do that.
It's just a melting pot, isn't it? Like that's the main point I was trying to make a little bit earlier. Is like this EP that we're doing now, like these past couple of singles that we've done. The boys do this now 3-day week. We've got another couple of like numbers in the bag coming
sooner than you think.
And like I feel like on these tracks, like we subconsciously try to cater to not a different markets, but like different people. Do you know what I mean? And like let people see that we're multifaceted, like auteurs.
That's coming the collab though. So like the different tracks are the different people that we've got to meet along the way.
Yeah.
All the visuals are with our mate Mike, who's literally just like does corporate stuff, so he earns his crust shooting, but he's sort of experimenting with us and helping us to envision our ideas.
And who's some of the people we've worked with
so
on the
do
tracks?
this, Jake did do this. It's like pure. We basically said do us one that sounds like The Prodigy. And then,
you know what's funny? Because I do think about The Prodigy when I hear it.
We love it. It's a love letter to The Prodigy, man. Like I'm
a good way to
I'm a
describe
huge
it.
fan. I'm like the biggest Prodigy fan. Then Jay Russell, who we mentioned before, like he's he mixed and mastered the whole EP, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's also done like there's a drum and bass breakdown at the end of 3-day week. I don't know if you clicked on that was.
We haven't seen it because, like I said, as it released, we were just setting up. I had little like 10-second snippets.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
and there's another tune that's coming out that's all Jay. Like he made the beat and it's probably my favourite track on the. It's a
big year for you guys then.
Yeah.
So
man.
what else have you got happening?
I just want to quickly make sure that everybody knows 3-day week was produced by Ben Goodwin from XP. XP from Flynn Grill. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to touch on that. We will touch on him again because he's the fucking man.
He's the big dog. We're getting round to him.
We literally recorded the fucking thing with him.
I was going to bring up yourself and Ross and
OP1
and End of the World.
Yeah, there's quite a lot to dig into, really.
I love his stuff, OP1. Love it because I'm
amazing.
really into
OP1's sort of like ever since we started doing like dipping our toe into hip hop, I suppose, like with the putting on gigs, like OP1's he's been the one who was doing it. He was doing it before everyone started doing hip hop in Corby.
Yeah, he's
like 20 years in the game. So like when he sort of agreed to do decks for us, up until that point we were just two cunts and an iPod. Do you know what I mean? Plug it in, plug in the backing track.
What was that thing you said to me in the first podcast? A mouse and sock.
The Frog and Sock. The imaginary venue.
I think it was the mouse and sock. I did admittedly say that.
I would have said it wrong. Yeah. I did see that.
Mouse and sock. That just tickled me because
we'll play anywhere. Frog and fiddle.
So, catch us at the Frog and Sock with OP1. No, but getting OP1 on board, like just live. It feels like
when you have an actual DJ in it.
It feels like a proper gig.
Well, by the way, I mean, we've got a little event that we've got going on that we've got in the planning stages. It's going to be a mammoth task, but we're up for it. My cousin in Portland, there's a big skate park in Portland. It's outdoor skate park.
We keep getting invited to skate things, don't we?
Well, he did.
Now we are, which is wicked.
Perform.
Well, no. Well, I don't know.
Skate, bro.
The idea is it's a skate competition, but at the same time, we're going to have like a podcast set up where people just come and go. like after they've done their heat or before they've done their heat, and they talk to us, and then they leave, and then they come back and they chat to us, like you know what I mean. So that's just
crazy.
Do you guys watch UFC?
I would be gnarly enough to do like a new run on a fresh park, man. I might need a couple of days to get like.
Yeah, but it's not until July. It's not until the end of July.
I'm imagining it as like some Sonic the Hedgehog floating island shit, and it's like the vert ramps by the water, so if you go wrong,
well, it's connected by a causeway, so.
Yeah,
that's picking up big time. Hang on.
From the causeway, it's kind of hard to see the full extent of the damage.
You couldn't see the wood for the trees. Fuck me, how am I supposed? Do you want me to shut this one?
No, don't, because it will look fucking like a crime scene.
So this is tonight the first in-house guest, you said?
You are our first guests.
First in-house.
Do you guys watch UFC?
Yeah.
Not for a while, but Shaun knows a bit more, yeah.
Why do you want to go on a deep dive with UFC now?
We don't think we need to go too deep, but...
I was trying to get it back on the rails, and I think you were as well. But I don't mind going anywhere, mate. I don't mind.
See, did we just conclude what we were just talking about? Because that's what I'm.
Nothing's been concluded, my friend.
We can go on forever.
There are no conclusions.
What time are we on?
That's the.
It doesn't matter, mate. Let's keep going.
To be honest, like, if you've got this far, bloody well done. Because I don't know what's been happening.
What?
Yeah, we've been chilling, bro.
I've been losing my train of thought.
Like, have you guys seen Pineapple Express?
Yeah.
Pineapple Express.
One of my favourite scenes in the whole movie.
I know what you're going to say.
Right?
Do the impressions.
Right, okay, alright. So it's like early on in the movie where James Franco's like bitching to the radio guy on the phone where he's saying like, oh, one of the things I hate about your drug dealers, you got to go hang out with him and all that, pretend he's your friend when really he's not. And James Franco's his drug dealer, right? I'm just giving this to the people who might not know what Pineapple Express is.
Yeah.
And so he goes in there and like, James Franco's trying to get him to stay and watch some shit on the internet or just watch some stuff, like have a conversation with him. And he's like, I gotta go, bro. Like he talks about euthanasia, and Seth Rogen's like, dude, I could talk about euthanasia all day, but I gotta go. I gotta go.
He asked him if he would.
Yeah, if he had to. If there was someone he loved.
If he would kill his nana, basically. Ain't his nana's photo.
Yeah, he points to the portrait.
You hug him, like.
But here's the bit that tickles me, right? So then before he's leaving, right, he starts telling his drug dealer about his missus, who's like, she's in high school, but like, you know, she's like 18 and like, he's 25, so there's a bit of an age gap. And he says, yeah, I saw it at the school, and I was, and he's like, James Franco goes, like proper stoned, like, well, you sucking her titties?
yeah.
And he's like, no, man, I was just doing that for dramatic effect.
So honest, like,
that's the beauty of that film. Films like that and Step Brothers. It's like,
but there was no way James Franco was sober for that scene, because you could not.
They weren't sober during that movie, bro. Like,
he deserves an Oscar.
That movie pretty much single-handedly made me want to smoke more weed.
I think that's what kicked my addiction. I wouldn't say addiction, but.
It was like a bombshell, wasn't it? It was like Friday, but like, because I was old enough to smoke bud, I was like,
single fucking night.
Smoking.
Oh, I would anyway. I'd watch it every night and smoke a joint as they're sparking the cross joint.
It's a good movie, man.
And then you watch it with the director's commentary and like, everyone's smoking their joint in this part. And I'm sitting there like,
Everyone's.
I was a bit of a late bloomer to the game, right? So I was about 20 years old and I started smoking weed. And but this was the first time I smoked weed on my own, in my own home, rather than go to Corby and get blazed, or go to a friend's house and get blazed.
Be very careful with who you choose to smoke with.
Like. Well, luckily he's my Yoda, you know what I mean, and my cousin. But so I was at a bowling alley for like a Christmas do and all that. We were playing bowling, right? And one of the girls working there, she sorts me out some weed.
So
like,
done at titties.
And right, and so she sorts me out, and I was like, pop it in between us. So I was like, could you roll it for me? Right. So she rolls me a joint and all that, and I get home, I'm on the bus with my joint, I'm like, oh
shit, can't wait to get home.
I'm in my living room, my mum's in bed, I'm like, she won't know, we've got high ceilings, so it'll be fine. Right? So I spark up and I put on Inception, I'm like, oh, fucking loving life. I fast forwarded to the corridor scene when just as the weed kicked in, I was like, I love weed, bro.
I love weed, man.
He used to always leave my room with cummy fingers. Anyway, I did a whitey in that, right? And then the same night I thought, smoking watch Jane Silent Bob, that's got to be the perfect movie. And I was lying in the bed like couldn't feel my body. I was like, and then after that I was like, I'm a stoner now, right? I'm fucking.
I'm cool now, right? Yeah. I remember when I was kind of 16 and it was like weed and a skateboard was kind of. Sorry, is that me cracking?
No, keep going. Yeah. He's making a cigarette. Fucking leave him alone. Thanks for watching, by the way.
Please watch. This is our jobs. No, I'm joking.
It's our jobs.
It's not.
Oh, so I got to tell you something, right? So I had that as my ringtone on like my Samsung phone at the time, right? It was like 2010. Yeah, 2010, right? It took a job, the whole thing, like the whole 3 minutes. I wasn't very savvy back then.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just a 3-minute ringtone, and I'm at this like my first girlfriend's house with her parents. They're proper like old parents too. Like they had her when they were 40. You know what I mean? They fucked up.
Shit.
And you know what I mean? It's like, and so I'm just sat at the dinner table with a proper like, just, you know what I mean? Just no banter whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm just sat there having dinner, and you just hear my pocket. And obviously the dad's looking at me like, look like Wagner from X.
So you go from Pineapple Express, he's like, I'll take you outside and fuck you in the street.
It's my cat's birthday.
He's like, what does that even mean? He's like,
hey, what was that? It's my cat's birthday.
Oh, when they go to Red's house.
I thought you were trying to segue to the tickets, like him inviting him to the drug dealer inviting him to.
Careful, mate.
He's like, I got 2 tickets to Phantom, and he's like, well, you want me to come with you? And he's like, yeah, we want to go see Phantom of the Opera. And he's like, yeah, I can't think what the cunt looks like. I can't think what the guy looks like.
Did you just say the C word?
Did you just say cunt?
It resonated in my head when I said it.
You're in the safe room, man. You can say.
Yeah, you're safe. The zombies are outside, mate. This is safe. You bought a ribbon.
Always got a neat ribbon, mate. Don't worry about that, mate.
I was just thinking, right? I don't know how this came into my head, but I was thinking about certain genres of movies that I really like.
Can I go for a piss?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Fucking gagging.
Certain genres of movies.
Yeah, but wait for it. Wait for it. Don't start. Don't start.
It's think kind of brass eye. Revolution will be televised. Trigger happy TV. You know what I mean?
Talk about that as well.
It was open. Oh, breathe.
We're back.
Summer breeze. Coming at you live in Corby.
You guys all right?
Yeah, fine. How are you?
I know what's on, mate.
Drizzle.
Yeah.
Just listened to a banging tune called 3 Day Week.
Yeah.
Check
She's
it
out now.
It's
Flash
fucking
Peasants 3 Day Week.
spoil anything.
So what do you think about the video, bro?
That's quality, mate. Who produced it in that?
Man, it's just. I like how you're putting Corby on the map. I'm seeing Corby. I'm like, yeah. I love the kinetic editing style of it. It's quick. Boom, boom, boom. And like you said about Trigger Happy TV, you're saying that, you know, Trigger Happy TV had that same kinetic style, and that opening, you know, that tune's still in my head. Like, who done that theme song?
What, the beat?
At the start?
No.
Newsreaders?
I'm on about the actual song that's in Trigger Happy TV.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That fucking start.
You know what I mean? And I'm getting that as soon as you mentioned Trigger Happy TV, boom, I'm there. I'm I get where you got your inspirations from. Cause you mentioned that, and I'm like, yeah.
Tom Jolly's a legend, did he?
And again, it's that quick cut because it's the TikTok generation that we're dealing with now. And it's like even TikTok itself will say to you, when you post a video, ideally it's got to be 15 seconds long, because most people, they're just a few brain cells knocking around.
4.5 minute long.
No, but the change and the change.
Yeah.
It's like that commercials are being created like that, and now it's been squashed down to 6 seconds. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know, like a Michael Bay movie and all that, but it will tell you on average how many times there's a scene change. We learned that in media studies when I did my first diploma. Nothing to brag about. First diploma means you failed school. But basically, you know what I mean? They're telling us like how many edits or how many cuts there are in an advert, and it was something like less than 1 second. There's an edit. Really? Change. And it's like that's the only way these days you're going to attain people's attention. And it's like I do like kinetic when it's done coherently, and in your video there's a coherent story being told.
Yeah, so
because
at the very beginning, first of all, we're very lucky because Mike Pheasant, he's the guy who's like directed all of our videos so far. So The Boys and Do This, and he's kind of managed to do a different theme for every video. We've got a couple more videos coming after this, but for 3 Day Week, it's like the most expansive idea that we tried yet. So the theme got out of hand a few times. There was points where there was talks of like a Terminator 2 style chase scene at the end of it there, but slightly beyond our means on this occasion. But Mike helped us visualize realize the vision.
Who's going to be the liquid?
The T1000.
That was the stuff that was like.
That'd be dope, man.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But so if you know anyone who does that stuff on the cheap.
Well, you know what's funny?
Visual effects and special effects.
Yeah. But the point I was making is back to, you know what I mean, like when something's too, and again, this is one of the criticisms that people had of the Matrix 4, right? Is that there was too many quick cuts or handheld shots, where it's like kind of like people after a while, ever since the Bourne films came out, people are trying to go for that shaky hand cam thing, and it's a bit disorientating for some people. But you guys are telling a story like a Michael Bay, where there's cut, and you're just overloaded with all these visuals, and you're thinking, what the fuck is going on right now?
Because of the nature of the video, like when we were creating it, we were doing it piece by piece, so we didn't even know what we were trying to do. It was just like, right, we'll film these shots. So the very first shots were those really quick cuts right at the beginning, where it's kind of showing the monotony of a 5-day working week full time, and Ted's leaving the house and doing his bin and getting in the car and going to his workplace. That was kind of inspired by, you know, like the Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead movies, how it's like they do those quick
do you know what
bits where he's taking a piss.
What I really appreciate about Edgar Wright's style as well is that he would do kinetic quick cuts on really mundane things. So like in Shaun of the Dead, it's the toothbrush, the spoon, the stone, the teeth, and I love that. That's genius. It's like, why not have quick cuts on mundane things?
We didn't know that with our very first music video, Paint by Numbers.
Oh yeah, of course.
Without going back into the band stuff again too much, but yeah, we were already like big fans of that one.
Yeah, it's just like trying. You know, you get creative with your music. You want to make a visual that kind of do it justice, and that becomes a whole other art form in and of itself.
Do you guys get a chance how much of it do you get to see before it's released? Like, are you doing any of the editing yourself, or are you getting glimpses?
We've been very lucky because we haven't had to do any editing at all.
A bit of backseat editing.
Backseat production.
So how often would you be corresponding with the editor?
So Mike is like basically the third or fourth member. If we include LP1 as the third member, Mike's definitely the fourth member. Of Flash Peasants. Like, he's like the visual director essentially. Like, he's just in communication with us. Like, it's another group chat, mate. Do you know what I mean? Flash Peasants.
Another group chat. WhatsApp group chat.
Yeah. So he would like literally, we'd film the video we'd spend 2 hours trying to shoot a video in his garage or whatever we were doing, and then he'd send back the results video. Like a day later. Most of the videos, it's literally been we've shot once, taken us an hour and a half to 2, maybe 3 hours. And then Mike makes a video out of it and sends us it the next day. But with 3 Day Week, it's been multiple little shoots, like I say, building blocks.
Yeah, it took a while, didn't it? That one. The other ones were literally like day shoots with Mike Pheasant.
Yeah.
And then this one took a few months, maybe.
Good
fun though.
Yeah,
when I wasn't on location quite as much as the bear was.
Is that the dream? The end goal really is that the side hustle becomes the main form of income, and you can just do it whenever you want.
Nah, not even in itself.
Yeah, like, I'll be completely honest. Like, I have no illusions of like earning music. That's one of the lyrics in this very song. Like, I don't do music to benefit financially. That'd be brilliant, of course. Like, I know loads of people that would love to make an earning through their music and stuff, but I think it's really difficult to make money through music. So
absolutely,
if you take that, talking about the barriers and making things happen, if you take that off the table, like the expectation of earning money from it, or ever being your full-time job and your full-time career, that can be empowering in a way.
It frees you up, doesn't it? As an artist, it frees you up
because you're not kind of trying to make
I don't want to jinx anything, right? But one day some like movie dude will be like, I want to use your tune.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, that stuff literally does happen.
Literally fucking...
I hope some skaters pick it up and start like putting it in their edits.
Yeah, Shaun's big on the skating now. You said you just started skating again.
I'm not trying to like segue in.
Nah, I think segue to skating now.
Nah, it's cool because we don't need to. We don't need to do that.
You've just been laid up. Skateboarding, that's all right, isn't it?
Did
we finish what we were talking about?
Doesn't matter. Just keep going, bro. So, you know, on a
Rodney Mullen. So Rodney Mullen, right?
Let's not talk skateboarding.
Sure, I don't mind.
And I'll tell you why I don't want to talk skateboarding now, because I've had a 5-day layup since Sunday, and like, I hate taking a break.
For it.
So I'm thirsty for it.
Yeah, no, that's what I was like when I first started.
It just makes me want to skate.
Like like I was saying the other day, like I first started now, I just want to fucking skate all the time.
It's a bug.
Go downhill.
It's a release though, isn't it? Because you're engaging in something that kind of brings you to a state of nirvana. You know, that's why I did parkour back in the day, because
a little bit.
you know, we have this going back to the philosophy talk, you know, about the existentialism and all that. Yeah, like Friedrich Nietzsche came up with this idea of Übermensch, which was German for like the beyond man, or like the Superman, but like back in the 1800s,
like an altered state. Sort
well,
of thing.
yeah, it's a kind of hypothetical version of ourselves, but with all our highest ideals. And it's like any time, you know, and different religions have, or different you know, teachings have a different interpretation of it. Like with Taoism, it's more like, you know, just oneness and being in present, right, or state of nirvana. But like anytime you're engaging in something, you know, and you're getting that oxygen in the brain, you get that dopamine and endorphins,
with the safety aspect,
and you're in the present. Yeah, and that's why we do it, because it levels us out. It's like there's nothing wrong with having that addiction to be. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to being in the now.
Yeah.
Fucking crack on, mate.
Yeah. Nah,
that should be
good.
That should be
the beautiful thing with skating, and it's similar with music as well, I suppose. Like there's a camaraderie that comes with that. It is something you can do on your own, but quite often it's best served with other humans. Do you know what I mean?
Encouragement, man.
So, I don't think you're challenging each other. So like maybe not so much now when we're a bit older, a bit wiser, but when you're a young man, kind of figuring out society and other humans and all that sort of stuff, it's a great place to kind of develop and get those healthy things that, you know,
you do need that connectedness as well. Like, you know, writing, it can be a very lonely hobby, a very lonely interest, because it's just you and yourself. That's why I like doing the podcast, because of the social aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Gigs was a big thing, wasn't it? Like going to your first gigs, man, like and meeting people at gigs, and
even just
going and moshing,
even
man.
just attending, man.
Yeah, man.
Those Raven gigs, those Rangers gigs, all like Sawyer's, fucking what else, man? All those gigs, man. They were something else.
Yeah.
Just a random band you'd catch as well. You never heard of before. They just go.
Do you guys know Don Broco?
Yeah.
So I once booked them at Sawyer's.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
So they've played Sawyer's, and like they've just
Sawyer's
played. They've just played the Royal Albert Hall with a full orchestra.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's unreal. Their new album's great. I really do. I rate what they've been doing.
Don Broco make good music for sure.
100%.
They're from Bedford.
So Preston Mico.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Preston Mico. Fuck yeah, let's talk about Preston Mico.
Let's do it.
Transmute. You guys have heard Transmute, right?
Of course.
Hey, let's talk about Transmute because it's banging.
Yeah,
you've heard it.
Favorite song.
Have you guys seen them?
Not live, no, not yet.
Favorite song? You go first.
Is it Gold?
It might be Gold. Gold's my daughter's favourite.
I think that's my favourite.
She likes the Leslie Y remix as well. Have you heard that? It's like proper pendulum.
Yeah, I do. I like Gold. I do like Gold.
I've got 2 songs saved on my like list, but I couldn't tell you what they're called. But they're just
when
I shuffle the playlist.
I'm like a newborn baby staring at the sun.
Yeah,
you know where I've been. That's Overdue. That's my favourite.
Yeah, nice.
That's absolutely banging.
I like Sticks. Something Sticks.
Smouldering Sticks.
Smouldering Sticks.
That's the one with
you wearing their merch. We're just saying we haven't even pointed this out, but we're wearing the Flash Peasants merch. So where's this available?
Oh yeah,
that's also available.
Art, weren't we?
That's available for pre-order now on Yuck Records. .co.uk. Like the price is there. I don't want to like keep doing the sales pitch, but this is ridiculous. You got the vinyl for £12 on its own, or a tee for £10 on its own, or a gig ticket for £5 on its own, but you can get all 3 for £22.
That's a steal.
Fucking bargain.
It's a steal.
So it's good, but yeah, we're buzzing with these tees. We've not really done much. We've been together nearly 5 years.
Literally the first t-shirts we've ever had.
It's the first ever run.
As soon as I've seen it, I got a boner.
With this image,
massive
like,
erection.
There's loads of stuff with this release that's been like just hashed out. Like the whole idea of the teddy bear head just came on a whim because we noticed that OP1 had a bear head and we thought, we can shoehorn that in and we'll use that. We've ended up, it's become the whole thing, it's become the front cover of this new record. The sign was stylized by me on an Instagram story, saved, sent to a graffiti artist, and he's just whipped that up. And this t-shirt design, the bear with the etched out eyes, I basically took a still from the video, etched out the eyes and sent it to this guy Jordan, who's like a great sketch artist, and he's reimagined it to this, and it's just looks like a sweet logo. Never really had a proper logo, so
my girlfriend's obsessed with.
We'll get the word around in Weymouth and Portland, that's for sure.
Yeah, boy.
Who asked it?
Well, I was just gonna say my girlfriend loves band merch. She always gets a t-shirt. I remember going to Keystone in 2006.
Yeah,
Keystone, holy shit, that's what I'm thinking about.
But this was during the summer when it had like the half pipe in the back garden.
Skating and that.
Cool.
And what a place, man. There's like these little gems that don't really exist today, you know?
Yeah.
It was something
Keystone,
else.
man, holy shit.
I'm starting to notice
what was
now,
that skate park in Kettering?
Losing band t-shirts that I had.
Yeah, same, man.
I had so many cool band t-shirts, man, but I've lost.
I had a couple. Dark History one. I had what was that band? Midas Touch.
Oh, Midas Touch, yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple.
His other band, weren't it?
That was Matty's other band.
Yeah, fair enough. But you can do that on MySpace as well. Like it would either play. Like I was a self-indulgent motherfucker, so like I'll be like, of course I want that song to play because again, going back to what we were saying earlier, a little callback. A little callback. Like
the song defined you.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Like I would stumble upon a song and. Like when I was 13, 14 years old, and I just discovered it because my journey was like the first thing I got was an Xbox where it was the first home console where you could burn discs onto the hard drive. So Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Lithium.
That's right.
He got me into Gorillas with Feel Good Inc. and Dare, and then I got a computer.
I love White Stripes for some reason.
And then I got a computer when I was 14 years old.
Yeah, man.
I got a computer when I was 14 years old, and I was introduced to LimeWire. Right?
Bang! I was going to say LimeWire earlier.
Yeah. So I get
RS.
LimeWire.
Anyone hear of RS?
No, pure LimeWire.
Bear Share for you.
LimeWire was the
Bear
Wild
Share.
West.
Fucking Bear Share. Holy shit.
Oh, Bear Share.
So
LimeWire was the Wild West, wasn't it?
Yeah, but kids today will never realise that, you know, for us to get free music back in the day, we had to basically rot our computer from the inside out. Like, within 2 years, my computer was dead.
I remember at
the
time.
Mike Juice from Lower Than Atlantis wrote a song about it, didn't he? Like, basically the concept of the song is that he's woke up and all of his favourite music that he bases his entire identity on has been deleted and erased from his computer, and he's now regretting. He's saying he'd pay any penny, you know what I mean? Pay every penny just to get him back.
Hard drive back.
Yeah.
And so I get uTorrent and all that, and it did come in handy. Don't get me wrong, like uTorrent was amazing, right? So
use it.
One of the things I got was Premiere Pro.
Okay.
Like, it was like worth £300-400 back then, and I got it just on uTorrent. But one of the things I thought was Star Wars Phantom Menace, the game.
Okay.
Right, but it wasn't. It was just the audio version of the movie. I was like, all day I waited, all Christmas Day into Boxing Day. I was like, right, let's fucking play this game. Boom. And then it's just and
no visuals.
No visuals, just a soundbar.
Oh my god, that happened to me with a Scary Movie knocked off DVD, bro.
Star Wars, the audio book.
The audio.
I had Scary Movie 2 on a knocked off DVD and I took it home real excited to watch it. We got it at the car boot sale.
Oh no.
Took it home and put it in my PC and tried to watch it, and it was just the audio of the movie and I couldn't watch it, man.
Do you remember those old school piracy DVDs, like that guy all painted red, like piracy is theft?
You would steal a car.
I've got a segue.
Let's have it.
Right, you know that advert, you wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't steal
a handbag.
The music was stolen for that advert. They didn't actually have the rights to the song. The reason I know that is because XP,
Ben Goodwin from Flame Griller,
they're the reason Flash Peasants is a band. We did the vocals for the entire 3-day week EP, and he engineered and produced
the entire EP at his studio in Leeds, and we went up there and spent some time with him, and it was
Dubwise Studios in Leeds. Yeah, massive shout out to those guys. As well as Flame Griller, XP does like his own solo stuff, so he's got a song called Trivia, which is him reeling off a bunch of facts, and one of them is that song, the piracy song,
is stolen.
I love that. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, because it changed. Check that song out. It's called Trivia. It's really.
Do you remember the other one back in the 90s where a guy will come in saying, like, goes up to a market guy and he's like, oh, bought this video of Train Spotting, and he goes,
sorry mate,
you got a stolen DVD.
He's like, no, it's a VHS. He's like, not many trains in it, is there?
Train Spotting, not many trains in it.
Have you guys ever heard of the cart narcs?
Oh, cart narc.
I've seen a cart narc, and the guy's like, "You're harassing me." He's like, "I'm not. Just take your trolley back."
Yeah,
is that guy right?
Cart narc.
And he's got a little thing, and if he sees someone, he's like, "Whoop, whoop, whoop,
puts a sticker on their car.
Don't
put the trolley back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He puts a magnet on their car saying, "I'm a lazy."
Yeah, they got to drive off. He just, and they're like, "Why are you doing that? You're being such a lazy bones." You know? And they always get in shit, man. It's
just when you think you've thought of
people go to swing for
and then the funny thing about that, sorry to keep relating this back to Flash Peasants, but sort of scenario, it's funny how quickly people get violent straight away.
Yeah,
like their first instinct is, I'm fucking kicking
Don't put
off.
your shit on my car.
So that guy, you might have seen the clip in the run up to the video about the guy asking me what I'm selling.
Yeah.
In the bear outfit when we're shooting those scenes, and he said, you know, he's asked me, and I didn't really think anyone was going to come up to me and start talking, so I just like waffled off some bullshit, and he's like, you're off, you know, like he's ready to like challenge me, a complete stranger, in the street
in a teddy bear.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I'm clearly fucking doing something here. Like,
you know what I mean?
But it's funny that we're that way, like we're ready to deliver animosity. What do you mean? Like, you've got the moral high ground because I haven't taken this trolley back, and you're challenging me, and now I feel bad, so I'm going to react angrily.
You know the common arguments that I've only watched about 5 or 6 episodes, but the common theme I seem to see is that their only line of defense really is that they're paid to do that, and it's like, but again, it's like common courtesy.
Sick.
All right.
Subscribe, Instagram, Flash Peasants.
Say, bro.
Peace.
All right, cool.